Hello, everyone, and welcome to Q&A meetup with the 3M experts and expert from United Way Bangalore as panelists once again for our Q&A session. As you know, 3M CII Young Innovators Challenge Awards is a annual award where we invite young innovators who are solving problems or who have an idea to solve a critical problem of the society, and they have a plan to do that. We invite them to participate in the challenge, and then all the way we have a selection process by which we celebrate the winners. So today we have panelists who will help our potential participants to probably help them to make stronger entries for this season. So I'm going to be welcoming the 3M India leadership team and Rajesh Krishnan from United Way Bangalore, who is the philanthropy partner to this challenge, and 3M India. So welcome all the panelists, and I will request all of you to give a small introduction of yourself under a minute with an example of an innovation from the youth that you remember. It may not be from the Young Innovators Challenge Awards, but it will be great if you can just think of one innovation that really strikes your mind. So I'll start with Aparna. Aparna, can you introduce quickly yourself and then one innovation that you remember?
Okay, let me keep my introduction very short and sweet. I'm part of this team that works on this challenge award every year. In my day job, I'm part of human resources, and that's really a very short introduction to what I do. I think the innovation that has stayed in my mind a lot over the years, and I've been involved with this challenge, I think from the year 2015 onwards, is actually a couple of innovations come to mind. But one that I would like to take from this challenge itself is sati pads, which has somehow stayed with me because menstrual hygiene is such a huge concern in India. And sati pads was something that sanitary pads made out of, banana fibers, plantain fibers. I think is something that has truly stayed with me all these years, and I know that they're doing fabulously well by now, even today. So yeah, that's something that I would like to highlight.
Great,
Over to
great.
you, Sandhya.
Sandhya, your introduction under a minute with an example of innovation that strikes your mind. I think you're on mute, Sandhya.
I am. Yeah. Hi, everybody. So, just like Aparna said, I too have been a part of the core team of the 3M CII Young Innovators Challenge Award. My other colleague, Smita, and I were part of the startup team, just the two of us, back in 2014. And of course, this team has been enriched by having Aparna and another colleague, Ajay, also on the team for the last 6 years. So, yeah, 7 years, seventh year in the running with this award. And what is that one innovation that I remember? It has to be the one that was presented and that won in the very first year of Young Innovators Challenge. It was from this young girl who had this device. It was a handheld device to simulate the nerves of a dog's nose so that they could find explosives. So it was absolutely fascinating. Of course, it won the first prize. Of course, after the event, she was mobbed by everybody in the hall. But it was fascinating, and it's something that I've always remembered.
Great. Rajesh.
Hey, Indrani, Aparna, Sandhya, thank you so much for this opportunity. Good evening, and it's good to see all of you, and more so, hale and healthy. And I really hope and wish all the people who are there today in this program, stay safe, stay healthy, because that's extremely important for all of us. Thank you for this opportunity, and as a member of United Way Bangalore, we are extremely excited and thankful to 3M for this partnership. Being your philanthropy partner has been an enriching experience and a great learning journey for all of us. Now, one thing which we all know is change is constant, and I always like to embrace change. And I would encourage all people, including the participants, and more so given that they are young, budding people with a lot of aspirations, to always constantly keep embracing change. Having said that, it's been a wonderful evolution of this whole journey of ECA, and it's the sixth year running, which
Seventh
is
year.
seventh year running, which is exciting. And what is more exciting is that new flavors are getting added. We had the rural innovation, which got added in 2018, Indrani,
Yes.
which is a completely new dimension to this engagement. One thing which stands out for me, in fact, two things I would say, is one is an auto rescue system, which was designed by one of the participant, and the genesis of that,
I think it was
the
last year.
yeah, the
Yes.
whole idea of coming up with that was awesome. From where all people can think about these things is amazing. The second one is microbuter, which is equipment for testing microbes in water, extremely relevant for a country like India, where the large population has one, poor access to water. If they have access to water, it's very unclean. So I find these two extremely relevant, and very, very relevant to the conditions in the country today. So thank you so much, and best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you so
So
much. Uh,
Rajesh, who can forget Nirnal Water? They
Nirmal,
were
I was
they
about
were
to
a
say
winner
that.
last
Yeah.
year as well,
That's
and they
So
were
what was the price
fantastic.
of it? It was 5 rupees or something that Nirnal
Yeah, it
wanted
was
to.
it
Yeah.
was amazingly low priced for getting good, clean drinking water across to every part of this country, really. So fantastic one
Yes.
there as well.
And
Great. So
I think
thank you so
Indrani, Sandhya is giving away clues to
clues.
participants
Yes, and
what
that
they
is
should keep in mind
that's
when they are applying.
that is what the session is for. So the session is actually dedicated to people who can actually build a stronger entry. There are just 2 days remaining. So yes, welcome all of you. This is the seventh season, as you just mentioned. This is the seventh season of the challenge, and 3M India continues their commitment to support youth-led innovation even in the background of this pandemic. So YICA 2020 is scouting for impact innovators ready to lead the transformation all across all spheres of sustainable living. So, in that context, Sandhya, I would like to ask you, what was the genesis of ICA? What we are calling ICA, so all of us who are just hearing the short form, ICA is Young Innovators Challenge Awards. We just abbreviated it for a kind of, ease of communication. It's also hashtag this year as ICA 2020. So you can also follow us with that hashtag. So, Sandhya, over to you. What has been, how was ICA born, and what are the expectations that 3M has from this initiative?
Well, it was 2014, and the Confederation of Indian Industry, which all of you must know as a very, very prestigious industry body in India, the Karnataka chapter was going to be conducting their 10th anniversary in Karnataka, and this being the startup capital of India, and where the whole this software boom happened, and this was considered a state where innovation kind of organically just happens, right? So they were looking for a partner to kind of augment their event. And obviously they kind of zeroed in on 3M and said that no other company embodies innovation the way 3M does, and would you be our partner for putting up some segment of this event? So it came back to us, and we brainstormed a little bit, and we thought, let us launch some kind of a contest. And so that's what we did. we launched this small contest. It was nothing on the scale that we have it today. It was very small. It was done within one organization and its students and fellows. And from there, we picked a few people who came up to the winning group, and we brought them into Bangalore. And of course, they present at this huge banquet dinner event where they get to interact with so many very, very erudite people, leaders of industry. You have scientists, you have industrialists, you have some really, really, the creme de la creme, really. And that's how it all started. And then in the following year, we decided that went really well. So let's try and see if we can make this a bigger event. And of course, we were very happy. We had Indrani who came on board. And from 2015, we grew our own 3M team. So it became Smita, Sandhya, Aparna, and Ajay. And we then took this to a different level. We did this outreach, online outreach, and things that everything was being tried for the first time. We didn't know what we were really getting into, but today we are very proud that with United Way as our partners and with Indrani's efforts, 3M has created an event that today is pretty much on the calendar for every young innovator, young scientists, young people who want to get some kind of recognition for the work that they are doing. So that's where we are. And today we brought it under our CSR umbrella as well. So it kind of dovetails with that. It dovetails with our CSR efforts. So that's where we've come from. And we are very proud that today we're in the 7th consecutive year, getting bigger, getting better. Yeah.
Yes. And given that this year we were hit by the pandemic and there was a lot of challenges, we still have very good participation. And so we just see that the innovators are on their toes to create this year's theme is resilience for India. So I think we are all set with very good, very active youth for India. So having said that, Sandhya, I'm going to ask you the second question. Is that one of the big reasons why the innovators participate in this challenge is because they get this platform of recognition. So how does 3M celebrate young innovators through this initiative? Can you give an example? Can you give an example of a winner who has really gained from the ICA recognition and has constantly acknowledged ICA or 3M?
Well, we've really been quite fortunate that almost everyone that has come up onto the winners platform have grown in their journeys of that innovation. They have always looked back and acknowledged that their journey started when they won the 3M Young Innovators Challenge Award. And that's something that is extremely gratifying for us. Very often we come across a LinkedIn post or a Twitter post where one of our winners, years after they have won, mentions 3M CII event, right? And it is extremely gratifying for us. Like I said, I mean, there's no better feeling of joy and happiness that we launched somebody's career, which is going somewhere. It is finding success. But yeah, I think communications is a big part of what we do. With CII, of course, being such a prestigious kind of an industry body, and it has a very high profile, the kids that come through this program, the people that come through this program, they already get recognition through CII itself. And then 3M does a lot of PR push for the winners and for the runners-up. So what we like to do is that we like to go back to where they have come from, to their hometowns. Many of them don't come just from the big metro cities. So we go back to their hometowns and we get local publications to talk about them, to interview them, so that the stories are read by their communities, by their people. And it gives them such a feeling of pride, because a kid who's come from a village in Bihar and lives in Bombay and has won this, his people in Bihar don't know, and they don't appreciate what a big deal it is. So that's what we try and do. We give them recognition. We definitely get them the stories. We get the interviews, and of course we do a lot of at least we try and do a lot of not quite mentoring, but definitely talking to them, counseling them, giving them some kind of coaching. And our colleague Ajay does a lot of that. He coaches them. So there's a big amount of growth and kind of an evolution that takes place in their view of how to take their projects forward. It's really great to see. And in the 7th year, we actually have points of base points where we can look back and say, this is where they were, and today this is where they've come. It's very lovely.
Great,
It's great.
great. So before I move to Aparna with some questions, I would like to say if you're watching us live, please start dropping your questions, because this session is for all of you. The way you want to build your entries, if you think you are stuck on a question, we have a few objective type questions which are pretty straightforward, but there are subjective questions also, and that those answers to those questions actually will help you build the strong entry. So if you have questions, want to clarify something, please drop your questions on the comment section. If you put it on the comment section, our panelists will be able to take them and address them. So thank you, Sandhya, to talk about the journeys of the winner. But I'm actually going to turn to Aparna. Aparna, you actually have been very actively engaged in the evaluation process, where you actually look at the 3M panel. You pull in 3M experts to review, the semi-finalists. I mean, all not just shortlisted, but the selected semi-finalists are reviewed by 3M experts. And these are essentially not just domain experts, but they themselves are like really subject matter experts. They are the scientists, they are from the R&D sector, R&D department. So we definitely would like to ask you, what is in the minds of these 3M experts when they are reviewing the innovations?
Well, Indrani, you're asking me to go behind the screens and share all of the secret stuff that we do, right? From the assessment panel perspective. I'm not too sure whether I'm allowed to reveal all, but I'll try my very best. You can't give people unfair advantages before they come to the semifinals now, can we? See, one of the things that we're all extremely proud of in 3M is our commitment to science, right? And 3M is an organization, we stand in promoting science. And I'm sure Sandhya is going to talk a little bit about it a little later. However, just to give you an idea of what kind of attributes we look for, or what are some of the aspects that we assess at the internal levels when it comes to the semi-final stage. First of all, our panels, and I'm sharing now secrets, right? Our panels are comprised of people from all of our departments, and that's something that you need to know, right? So you will have panels which obviously the foundation of 3M is in our R&D. So you are going to have panelists who are scientists, and they could be scientists from material sciences to physical sciences to chemical engineering. So they are definitely going to be part of the panel. You can be rest assured that if you are, you're putting in an entry for something around an innovation and product, there will be questions that will dig a little deeper into the science behind it, right? So you will have. So scientists are a huge part. We also have people, and this is a second secret that I'm revealing, right? So you are going to have people who are also from our business part of the organization. And that's fundamentally because we would like to see your innovations go beyond just the idea and the proof of concept stage to scale it further. I mean, do you have the will behind to take your product out into the market, even if it is in the social sector? It needs to be adopted by a bunch of people. It needs to be used, right?
Yes.
So you will have the second set of panelists from our business functions, and from our business leaders would be a huge will have a huge say, and will be a huge part of the panel. The third, we also have folks who will be looking at things with purely the lens of what kind of an impact is it going to have from a social perspective, right? Because the scientists are going to pull in the scientific direction, the business folks are going to go pull in the business direction. But the whole idea of this Young Innovators Challenge Award is about social impact. And we don't want to lose track of the fact that all of your innovations, we would like it to impact the underserved sections of our communities, be it rural, be it in urban India, but really to have a social impact and a broader social impact. So, yeah, at a broad level, these are the three secrets that we have revealed. We will be looking at it with three different lenses and then diving a little deeper into each of these aspects. I think that's enough secret revealing for some time now.
As of now, yes, but the moment you started answering questions, Aparna, do you see that you've actually sparked something? We have so many questions. So probably I'm going to take one question, which is going to be probably, so also Rajesh, I'm going to actually take the question for you, okay? Because I had the similar question I wanted to ask you, but already somebody else is asking. So actually, Rajesh, I wanted to, because you have been on our panel to select semi-finalists. So I know that you have, we already have on our website very clearly given the assessment criteria. And in the assessment criteria, you know, we also, not just one criteria is there are 6 criteria, like there is innovation, there is sustainability, there is like proof of concept, etc., etc. But, you know, what I would like to ask you one question. When, you know, as a shortlister or as a reviewer of somebody who you know, a group of people who from whom you are supposed to select semi-finalists, what are some of the key things that you observe, and what are some key mistakes that you have identified that you wish that they did not make?
So, Indrani, that's a very interesting question and an important question too. I would like to kind of rewind the clock and go back to the time when I was to attend the 10th standard board exam, and what my mother first told me. You know, she first told me that, please, the moment you get your question paper, put your pen down, take 5 minutes to read the question paper properly from start to finish. Don't immediately jump, you know, writing the answers. No, never do that. So I would encourage every participant, every applicant to take time out to read it fully. Because many times the questions which you would probably be having in your mind, the answers might be somewhere there, you know, in the whole document. And what sometimes appalls me is when you start evaluating some of the applicants and you realize that they have missed out on very fundamental things. Now, what comes to my mind is, if somebody is going to be so ignorant or maybe very careless, then how can I put my money in that person? You know,
Yes.
let's be very clear. Yika is a very benevolent version of Shark Tank. If people have been watching Shark Tanks, it's all about venture capitalists who have the big bucks, and they would definitely not like to bet it on somebody who's going to be very careless about it. So my humble submission to the group is, please take time out, read the application properly, and then pick up what is relevant to you and then put it across. The second most important thing is, you know, your ideas may be fantastic, but it's extremely important that you articulate it in simple English. Guys, I would like to underline the word simple English, you know, which is very easy for a layman to understand. Please note, the person on the other side, you know, have mercy on the person on the other side, because it's like evaluating a question paper. You know, where, you know, you have 10 question papers, 30 question papers, and trust me, the endeavor of the person is to do full justice to each applicant. But
Correct.
we are also constrained with time. And please understand, as Aparna very clearly said, this is not a day job for people. Everybody here, like Sandhya, Aparna, they have full-time jobs, Ajay, Smita, and they volunteer for this particular cause. And it's extremely important that we respect everybody's time. So hence, please keep it very simple. Please put it in very simple English so that people are able to understand your idea very clearly and then decide on whether you should be taken to the next level or not.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think a lot of questions are coming in. So Halaksha, you're asking, have an idea on urban poor, and it's about waste management. And you are asking if it is relevant for the competition. Yes, I will say I am answering your question. Yes, it is relevant because our rural innovation is not just rural innovation, but it's also inclusive innovation. Inclusive because we also understand that there are disadvantaged communities which are on urban, semi-urban, peri-urban locations. So if you have such a program, of course, it is going to be part of it. But also, as I think Sandhya and also Aparna have highlighted, and also what Rajesh has been saying, is that please look at the science behind it. When we say science behind it, does not mean that, you really need to create something which is technical, because that was also one question. I just saw a question from Adarsh Bansal, and actually I'm taking Adarsh Bansal's question. You are asking, most of the winning ideas are less technically oriented. Is it true? I will say no, but still I will want Sandhya and Aparna to answer. Is it less tech? I mean, the winning ideas are less technically oriented. Aparna, what do you have to say about that?
I wouldn't say that, because we have three categories under product, service, and rural innovation. And by the way, a lot of entries that have come in within these three categories have actually been technical products, right, which have served these segments, so to speak, right? So by technical, if you mean, and I'm kind of linking it to another question which I saw earlier, about whether my product is around a software development, right? We've not even said no to any software development products, as long as the application is meeting with our fundamental premise that it should have some amount of application in the real world which has a social impact. And then even a software development, just a program, is also a technical innovation and can sit under any of the three categories.
Yes. And Sandhya, do you have anything to supplement what?
No, I completely agree with Aparna that, it is the end result that we are really, that really is the proof of the pudding, that what goes into it can be extremely technical. The purpose it serves might look simple, but the actual product or the service that goes into creating that can be extremely technical. So I don't agree that all our winners have some kind of lack of technicality in the products. That's
okay, great.
I wouldn't
So
agree.
also another question I'm going to take for you, Aparna. Suvrat Agarwal is asking, will B2B product innovation be eligible?
Like I said, one of the biggest lenses that we look at is ultimately what is the outcome? What is this product serve? Is it going to have a social impact, right? So being B2B, will it still have a social impact is a question that you have to answer to see whether you can submit your entry. So prima facie, I cannot say B2B is not going to be allowed. If through B2B there is going to be an impact somewhere to a segment of the society that we are talking about, then definitely you can submit your entries as well.
And I would urge everyone to read the application forms, because all these details are absolutely clearly defined. These answers are clearly defined in the application form and the process. So I would really urge you to read them in detail.
Also, I would like to reiterate the fact that we are holding, today is the last Zoom session, but we've been holding for last 1 week Zoom sessions where we've met most of you online, and we have answered some of these very, basic questions. So that's that. But Rajesh, I have a question from Sachin Jagdown, and he is asking, my idea is at a concept stage. What kind of proof of concept is expected? I have the answer, but you as an evaluator, so will you like to give some suggestions on like an idea stage? Because that is a stage which is allowed, in our entry form. That is a stage in which we have said that people can be submitting ideas. But somebody who has a conceptual idea, not a hypothetical. Somebody just asked, I have a hypothetical idea. Hypothetical, conceptual, both I will say. But what will you like to see as an assessor, as an evaluator?
So, Sachin, that's a good question, and thank you. We do have certain criterias which have been put in place for such initiatives, because today, not with an intention of trivializing it, but ideas sometimes could be dime a dozen. And it would become extremely difficult for anybody on this side to judge based on an idea. So what we have done is, as a part of the evolution journey, we have said the idea is great, but we would like to see that idea going to the next step. And the only logical next step could be to see a proof of concept. It could be even just one example of how this particular idea has manifested itself into either a product, a service, which you would like to showcase. And if your conviction is very strong, then you're most welcome to apply with one proof, and then of course be assured that a fair assessment of the idea would be done, and then whatever is the logical next steps that needs to be taken will definitely be taken. So at this point of time, if you do not have a proof of concept, it simply doesn't qualify, because that is the criteria which has been set by this group. And it has been thought through well before these criteria were set up. So that would be my humble submission to you at this point of time.
Great. Also, I just saw Vaibhav Jain is asking, my idea is related to tourism industry. So will it go for ICA? Of course, Vaibhav, if you are a young innovator, whether you are addressing tourism industry, whether you are addressing, a product, service, rural, urban, anything, as long as you're able to articulate it, you're able to provide a proof of concept, and you are committed to the vision, of course, you're eligible. One other question I have, Rajesh, for you. Again, somebody is also asking, Siddharth Amarnath is asking, would a beta POC be accepted? Proof of concept, beta POC.
Okay, Siddharth, thank you again. As I told you before, simple English, the short answer is yes. However, the discretion of the assessor is something which you will have to respect, because how we are going to articulate it and showcase it is becoming extremely important when it is in a beta stage. So that would be the caveat I would like to add in my answer.
Great, thank you. Also, we have Vishal who is saying, and this goes to both, Aparna and Sandhya. There is a question where they say there shouldn't be any age bar for the competition. That like that, we miss out on a lot of young innovators. So my answer to you, Vishal, is that we are really looking at young innovators who are on the onset of it. Who have a vision or an idea which is less than 4 years of age, but you have a vision and you're committed to the vision. So we are hoping that vision can be done by the time you're 30. More than that is like really not young. By then you probably are seasoned. Okay, so that's my answer. But Aparna, what do you have to talk about? What do you have to say about the age bar?
I think we debated over this long and hard, and over a period of time, we have come to understand that if you are actually throwing your will, right, and that's so important, right, your heart and your mind may create this wonderful idea, but to take it and to scale it, You need the sheer will behind it. And if you have come up corporate slaves, and then we continue our journey as corporate slaves. Okay, Rajesh is laughing because he got out of it, right? So, but if you are a true entrepreneur and you are a true or social entrepreneur, you are going to do this when you have the sheer energy and the willpower to do it. And therefore, we thought long and hard, and we decided that what is it currently, Indrani? 32, 30 is going to be
30,
our
30, 18 to 30.
30
18 to
is,
30.
yeah, 18 to 30 is going to be our window, because we are targeting youth. So yeah, to keep it
Okay,
simple,
but I'm going
that's
to
our definition.
yeah,
We are going to keep
that
it that
is,
way.
but I'm going to tweak it a bit for Sandhya. Sandhya, Vishal is saying my partner couldn't register because he is 17. Okay, and he is a contributor of the idea. So, Vishal, just to tell you that if your partner, so if you're a team, please apply all the people who are between to 18 to 30, and you can always mention that you have team members who are probably below or above the age. So that is what we have always said, like in a team who is representing have to be within that limit. But yeah, Sandhya, we've been receiving a lot of younger, this is not young innovators but younger innovators for as ideas. So what advice you have for them?
Firstly, it's extremely heartening to know that kids are starting so young to think differently and to have big ideas of commercializing or taking their innovations with social relevance. But before I get to the answer, I just wanted to add to Aparna's words. She said energy and willpower. Of people who believe in their idea. I want to add the word passion. Right? Because if you really have that energy, willpower, and passion, you're not going to wait till you're 50 to make your idea turn into reality, are you? You're going to work at it all the time, day in, day out, to see it happen. You want to see it happen. So that's just what I wanted to add to Aparna's answer. But yeah, for age. In 3M, we have a very, very strong pillar around which we have built this organization, and that pillar is that of ethics, right? And we really would encourage anybody who does have somebody who does not come within our age eligibility to either put up a team member who does and declare it openly, because that would always work better than saying, I'm actually 17, I've done this, this project is mine, but I'm going to declare that I'm 18 on paper so that I can enter the competition. Please don't do that, because it's not the spirit of our organization, and it's certainly not the spirit of this initiative.
Great, thank you. And I must also, just to supplement that, I must say that in last 2 seasons we definitely had to we not last two, I think 2018 we had a team. In fact, last 2 seasons we had 2 teams who were below age, but they had fantastic idea and they were given a special mention. They were definitely awarded. So it's not that if you are below the age limit and you have a fantastic idea, we do not mention you. You can go to our Facebook page and you can see we have acknowledged special mentions, and one of them were from the National Public School Bangalore, 3 girls from there, and the last year we had somebody, a team from the Army Public School. So of course we've been acknowledging school level innovators. Okay, Bharanish, Sampath is saying my idea.
Rani, just 1 second. I just want to say that, clarify that these are special mentions because they are young people who have done something that all of us were impressed by. These are not winners. So
Yes.
To be a winner and to be part of the competition, you have to, to satisfy all the eligibility criteria.
Correct. Yes. So yes, what I meant to say is that when we are going through your submission this year also, we've got a lot of submission, but we pay a lot of attention to each submission. So some of you, probably we have come back to you and we've said that would you like to supplement information on this aspect or that aspect, because we take your submission, your efforts very seriously. So we definitely put in that that much of our effort to come back to you. If we think that you have made a serious submission, we also take you very seriously. So Bharanish, Sampath, you are saying my idea is about reducing water evaporation evaporation in dams. Is that an idea acceptable? Of course. Please tell us how. Please fill the information on the entry form, and of course it is eligible. Also, we have a question from a team which is called 3Learn Fun. Now, they have said that I have made a working prototype of my idea. It is useful only for defense related purposes or army use. Is my idea accepted? Of course, if you can disclose what the idea is, and if we are able to, if you're selected as a winner and we are able to promote it, I mean, it cannot be a secret service idea, or I do not know how to answer this. Aparna, how should we answer this? It's a secret service kind of a thing. Then what do you, what is your answer to that?
Well, if he's, I think what they're trying to say is it is from a defense perspective. So I'm assuming that it would have some amount of confidentiality around it, right? Can he enter the competition? Yes. Right? Is there a chance that you will win? Definitely, as much as chances for anybody else. But other than that, beyond that, if your product is only for defense, then that kind of restricts your potential to scale, or your potential to go beyond into the social sector or into the open sector. So that's really a choice that you're making. So leave it to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, and sorry, we just have another 5 minutes to take probably another 2 or 3 questions. But please, we just after this session, we are going to have a Zoom session. So do the Zoom details are on our Facebook page. So do join in for a FaceTime with us and our experts, and we will continue to take your questions there. But yeah, we've got another question from Vamsi Gupta, and Vamsi Gupta is saying, my idea is to innovate existing available raw material and provide livelihood to rural people. Since I won't be selling anything, how should I answer usage of seed funding? So so again, Aparna, I'm going to actually come to you, because this is a question that we have asked, and this is a question probably the panelists also look at how they are going to be utilizing the money that is given to them. So what do you think? What should be a compelling answer? Seed funding, 3 lakhs.
Okay. So I'll answer it in 2 parts. Okay. So as we are looking at it from a purely grant perspective, we are not going to get into the details of how are you going to spend. Give me a record, line by line item of how you're going to spend the grant money. That's not our intention at all from a 3M's perspective. So I wanted to kind of lay that out on the table right away. This is for you to do whatever you need to do to scale up your idea, to take to the prototype level, to notch it up to the next level in the normal stage of your plan itself, right? Having said that being said, the second part of it is, of course, that we do want you to use it for furthering your purpose and furthering your vision of where you want to logically take your idea to, right? So that's very important. There's a third part to your question, which is that you're not selling anything. We don't really expect you to sell anything. We are very clear that we are looking at projects which have a social impact. And if your project is going to create livelihood for rural people, that's the impact that we will be measuring. How many people have you impacted? How many livelihoods have you created, right? So that's really the proof of how you're utilizing our grant money to take it to that level where you're actually implementing what you set out to do. I hope that answers your question.
Of course, it does. And I'm going to take another question. Probably I'm going to direct it to Rajesh, and then again get it supplemented by Aparna. Is that Naruto is asking, my idea is ventilator that can save a lot of lives and is far better than the existing proposed designs. But due to shortage of funds, there is no prototype. So how to put the idea and have an answer, which probably will be a winning idea. Rajesh.
So, Norito, that is an excellent question and very relevant to the current times. I'm not sure if you have been tracking the news since the official lockdown was announced on March 25th. Every street corner in Delhi has come out with a ventilator. No offense to the Delhiites, As United Way, we have been trying to source medical equipments, low-cost products which are very relevant. And if you remember the initial days of the pandemic, the first 2 months was spent on only on how to gear up on ventilator, and then we realized that ventilator is not the solution, because very few people in the larger scheme of things actually need a ventilator. This is a statistical information. I mean, kudos to you for showing adventurism, but ventilator is a highly technical product, and it's extremely important that the proof of concept is first made and it is also validated. So, to your question, brilliant idea, go for it. But for it to actually graduate to the next step, it's extremely important that you come up with a proof of concept. And that's something which you will have to work on, Norito, at this point of time.
Yes, and I think he says that we have assumed the cost is about 30 to 35,000 maximum, and it is like a actual ventilator. So, okay, Norito, if you have further questions, you can bring it to us. You can also ask on the Facebook page, but I'm just going to take probably the last question for the session, which is from Ishita Bajpai, and she asked, I have provided short-term as well as long-term possibilities of proof of concept. What more can we do to make our submission stand out? So Aparna and Sandhya, both of you, probably if you can just take a minute to answer Ishita.
Sandy, go ahead. No problem.
Aparna, you go on.
I think Ishita, you're on the right track here. If you have given a short direction as well as a long-term direction on how you're going to take your project forward, I think that is a terrific way of already ensuring that you are going to be assessed in a very, very fair and just manner. Right. I think what will make your probably a little bit of a hint to what will make your submission stand out is if you're able to articulate very clearly the impact, and especially the social impact that your idea or innovation is going to create. Because this award is really about the impact. It's less about the technical aspects of it. It's less about the product. It's really more about the social impact that it's going to create. So if you're able to articulate that, if you're able to envision that, believe me, you will stand out.
So I'm going to take the last question for Sandhya. Sandhya, Siddharth Amarnath asks you this. I mean, he asks everyone this question. If 3M is making a similar product, would the submission, if they are giving a competitive product, would that be a conflict of interest? How will you answer that?
Well, Siddharth, with all due respect and with a little bit of a joke here, it's a little difficult, I think, to try and to copy 3M products as simply. But yeah, so the question of conflict of interest will. I don't think it would be that important, because if you are, for example, trying to come up with a particular product that we have, for example, I don't know, an adhesive product which could be used for certain kinds of good impact, social impact, then it will be evaluated by the very best of 3M. So if there are if there are
it will be a tough evaluation. That's probably what we will
be a very tough evaluation. So yeah, I mean, you know that this company has tens of thousands of products globally, and we kind of have something everywhere. So bring it on. We'd be very, very flattered, I think, and very pleased to have those kind of products also coming into this Young Innovators Challenge. We'd be thrilled. So don't worry about it. If there is any kind of conflict, and if we feel that there's going to be an issue, we're not shy to tell.
And Siddharth, also, let me tell you that we had two winners who were working in the water filtration area. One was Nirnal, another was Microbuter. Both of them were actually mentored by the scientist in the R&D center of 3M. So that is an advantage. So feel free, if you have a conflicting product, bring it on. You will also get some benefits from there. And also something that I have been telling, probably through my communication and the Zoom sessions that we've been holding, is that please see this as a platform where you are also not just winning. It's not just a pathway to win something. It is all the way probably a pathway to gain insight, refine the vision that you have, improve yourself as a professional, have better insights into your ideas. And there is a lot of learning that will go, which will certainly help you to kind of pitch yourself better. So with that, before we close, I will go around and take a minute to just yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, Indrani, on a lighter note to Siddharth, he probably might get a call from the HR of Smith 3M India.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would like to close the session with probably one advice from each of you for these potential participants. So starting with Aparna.
I would probably say that put your heart, mind, soul, and spirit into your entries. Show us your passion, like Sandhya said. Show us how committed you are into making your dreams a reality, because we want to capture some of that energy. Every time we run this program, all of us on the core team are really excited. And this year, and every year, it is such a revelation for us to know that the future of India is in such capable hands, such as yourselves. You reinforce that year on year, and so please bring that passion to life this year as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Rajesh, your last advice.
So, Aparna has very beautifully articulated it. What I would like to tell people is, let's be candid. There's going to be a winner at the end of the day. Okay, but look at this whole initiative as an excellent journey. Enjoy every moment of it, because you may not get it again. Enjoy every moment of it. Make some excellent friends who probably would become some excellent partners as you evolve. This is not the end of it. And importantly, learn from the mentors. Use every opportunity, because you're not going to get such an eminent panel who are taking time out of their calendar and spending their energy and efforts with only one intention: to see that you succeed. It can't get better than this. Enjoy the whole journey, and we really look forward to your applications, and wish you all the best. Please apply with an open mind and keep it as simple as possible. And friends, I can tell you one thing: keeping it simple is the most toughest thing. So that's the challenge in front of all of you. Wish you all the
Yeah.
best.
Thank you. Sandhya, your last advice to everyone.
Yes, so I think Rajesh and Aparna have said it all. It is a path on your experience of life, on how you are going to deal with things as you grow, as you take your passions forward. Today it may be your current innovation, tomorrow it might be a different thing altogether. So, but this experience is going to help you. This experience is going to enrich you. It's going to help you to learn, what went right, what went wrong, how do I improve, and so on and so forth. So everything that Aparna and Rajesh have said, I second wholeheartedly. And just one point that I think through this discussion that we've forgotten to mention, that the finalists are selected by an external jury. So it's not the 3M R&D people, and it's not the core team. that is talking to you today that has the final say in who the finalists are. This is a completely transparent process. We shortlist, we take them to the semi-final stage, and then the final stage is done by an eminent jury of panelists who are from a science background, who are from a social work background, and they are the ones who actually select the winners. So good luck to all of you. Like Aparna said, it's wonderful to know that the future of this country is in enthusiastic and in capable hands. And I look forward to meeting some of you at least very shortly. Bye now.
Thank you so much for your time today. And we are just 2 days away from the deadline. We hope to see very strong entries coming from all of you. And don't worry about, just focus on the eligibility criteria and the assessment criteria and make your answers. Don't worry about the results. It is also a saying, like, please give your best. You should not worry about the results, because if you have given your best, you cannot fail. Okay, so that is something. And I shall see you in the Zoom session. You can watch the recording again if you have missed out. If you have not watched us live, you can definitely watch the recording again on Dare to Compete platform. Everybody who was watching us live, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and all the very best.
Bye-bye.